Hey y'all, so today we're going to be talking about ways that you can show up to your end of year review prepared, ready, and have those come to Jesus conversations. So let's get to the spicy stuff. Hey everyone, so I've been asked this question over and over, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity to have a conversation about crushing that end of year review. Now, most of us have had an entire year that we've had the opportunity to really crush it, really think about what areas of the business we would like to get into, what the challenges are, and this is your opportunity to have all of those come to Jesus conversations, and you can do it very professionally and be heard. So let's talk about how you get to it. And for those of you that are new here, hello, my name is Melissa Peoples. I'm an executive assistant coach. I'm a certified Microsoft trainer. And let me just tell you, this is a topic that is a hot topic for administrative professionals all over the globe. So I get asked this question all the time, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for you to address some of those questions that have been coming up all year long. So the first tip is I want you to show up and plan for your end of year review with absolute intention and purpose. One of the biggest challenges that I see from administrative professionals is they will show up to their end of year review without much of a plan. All year long, you may have been frustrated with the fact that you may not have a seat at the table. Your voice is not really heard. You are excluded from meetings, or there are just areas of the business that you are very interested in. This is the perfect opportunity for you to bring that up. And a key way for you to be able to do that is to say something like this. I think that this is a development opportunity in our partnership, and I'd really like to be able to talk to you about these things that I would like to do. Having that upfront and honest conversation between you and your executive business partner is going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to very nicely lay those things out on the table. It's going to be hard for them to get defensive because you're talking about a development opportunity at your end of year review. When you're in a meeting that the whole purpose is to discuss your professional development, this is the perfect time to talk about your successes and your challenges. The other thing that it's going to do is going to allow your executive and to remind them that this is actually a chosen profession. There are industry standards, there are best practices that you would like to implement, and there are ways that you would like to really grow in your profession. And taking this opportunity to remind them about what your career objectives are and your goals are and things that you would like to implement does remind them that, hey, listen, I have to focus on this person's professional development just like I would anyone else in the business. And if you've been an EA longer than 3.2 seconds, you know that's a challenge. So don't miss the opportunity to bring up this conversation and be as honest as absolutely possible. I think when you have the conversation that says, these are the things that I think have worked, we were really successful in doing these things. And then in these areas, I think that we have room for growth. And one of those things could be communication. Maybe your executive is not spending the amount of time with you that you would like. So bring up the topic that you would like to have more communications or more one-on-ones. And you can even say things like, it's challenging for me to get in front of fires or for me to be proactive when I'm not privy to that information. And I would like for us to work on our communication, and some ways that we can do that are, and then you can provide solutions. Then you can ask them, how do you feel like our communication has been? Do you feel as if our one-on-ones are productive? You know, a lot of times you can bring up the fact that your one-on-ones tend to be very tactical, and you don't get the opportunity to talk about the strategy that will allow you to get ahead of those fires and get in front of things. So bringing that up in a meeting where you're only talking about your professional development, where feelings hopefully are pushed to the side. This is an opportunity for you to give feedback, for you to receive feedback, and having those open conversations with your executive business partner will help level set you as a partner and really help you get set up for success going into 2022. So the next tip is to capture your wins. If you are not doing this already, I would highly suggest to create a space where you are capturing your wins, because I promise you, a month or 3 months from now, you're not going to necessarily remember how you saved the day and you got that draft for the all hands the day before when nobody else had it ready. So taking the opportunity to formalize a place where you do capture your wins, and at the end of the week or at the beginning of the week, really thinking through what worked last week and even what didn't work. So you want to highlight these things so that when you show up to your end of year review, you have successes to talk about, you have challenges to talk about. And sometimes these things can be big or small, but the important thing is that you're talking about them and you're level setting the conversation, not just for your end of year review, but for all of your quarterly check-ins. So the other thing that I want to remind you is that if you have not requested training or budget for whatever it is that you would like to do, now is the time to talk about it. When you're talking about your professional development and you're highlighting the pieces that say, I would really like to level up my technical skill in Microsoft Teams, or I would really like to know how to run meetings better, or I would like to learn how to manage your actions in Google Keep. Whatever that is for you, taking that time to think through how is it going to make my executive more productive, make me more productive, and approaching your executive to give them the reasons why you would like the training, but also connecting it to your professional development. I always encourage administrative professionals to find out from HR or from other members on your team if they have budget built in. If this is a standard for your entire organization, and as much as I would like to say that this is rare, it's not. I know so many administrative professionals who everyone else on their team has budget for training and professional development except for them. This is a absolute real scenario that many of you are going to have to deal with. And this is another one of those come to Jesus conversations where you bring up the topic of budget. So if you don't have budget and you're requesting for it, this is the opportunity for you to explain why. And if your executive looks at you and says, I'm not going to provide budget for training this year, and you know that it's not a budget issue and that everyone is being denied training, then what you need to find out is why. And so having the conversation that says, okay, can we dive deep into that a little bit? I'd like to be able to understand why my role is not considered valued enough to have training when these other roles are. And you don't have to say it in a defensive way, but you do need to understand their reasoning behind it so that you can either solve the issues that they're bringing up, or honestly, if you're working with an executive who doesn't value you enough to put you on the same level as your peers, then, maybe it's time to get moving on. If you don't have a seat at the table and you don't have a voice, this is the opportunity, again, because you're talking about your professional development, to bring that up. And simply say things like, I would like to discuss how I can have a bigger seat at the table. I don't feel as if my role is valued, and I understand that that's bias in our industry, and I would like to discuss how we can work on improving that together. I think these are all really challenging topics that most of us avoid. But when you build the confidence and realize that your end of year review should all be about your professional development, you should be talking about what's working and what's not working. You should be giving feedback and getting feedback. One of the questions you always want to ask your executive is, how can we partner better together? What are the areas of the business that I could help you in? What is top of mind for you? I'd like to be able to partner with you in a new way and to help you be able to move forward the business. You want to get them talking about where they see the opportunities for growth and where they see that you're absolutely crushing it, and double down on those. So I hope this has helped you get ready to have those really hard conversations. Work on putting your emotions to the side. Take all information that they give to you as feedback. And even if you have to sit on some of that stuff, if you don't like the feedback, sit on it and then schedule a follow-up session, because your professional development is just as vital as anyone else's. And at the end of the day, when your role is to help someone else succeed, it is in their best interest to partner with you and make you the most successful. So please comment below. I'd love to hear how those conversations are going. All right, guys, so if you're looking for more professional development content like this for administrative professionals, here is a playlist that you can get into. So So I'll see you in that video.